guys, Lewin here at GarageBand and Beyond. Welcome back. We're going to talk about guitars today. And I wanted to start out with saying, there was a long period between Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana where what was considered a good guitar tone was really, questionable, especially in my book. But after Nirvana, things got a little bit more interesting. More dirty, nasty, ugly guitar tones became totally acceptable and really became an important piece of the puzzle of finding new colors for a guitar sound, new colors and sounds for songs in general. You can listen to Radiohead and Wilco are two really good examples of sort of the new concept of guitar tones and stuff like that. So I'm not going to talk too much. Let's get straight to the screenshot and I'll show you how I came up with the sounds for this song. Let's go. All right, so let's start with the intro guitar, and I'm going to show you what happened here a little bit. And I'm going to just say conceptually what I was going for here was, in the intro I wanted it to be sort of weird and sort of, I was sort of thinking about waking up in the morning and, sort of as your brain starts to process information. It was sort of that kind of thing, it's all sort of chaotic. So anyway, so as you can see, let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. I have a little bit of automation on it, a little bit of volume increase. Starts or ends at negative 10.9, starts at negative 16.4. So there's a little bit of a, about a 6 dB increase as the intro goes. The other things that I did were the track pan. It's starting all the way here on the right side, and then it ends at all the way on the left side. That was one thing, and then the other thing that I did was I was able to automate the effects, and this is the reverb, and this started at 0 and ends up at 100. So those three things combined just sort of helped create this weird tone. Now the other things that I did, let's talk about these guitars right here. Now these guys, and let me just play these two really quickly for you. Right, so you can hear they're just on the ones. It's a nice, bright, clean guitar tone, and the reason I went for it, on the one, is to, when you hear these kinds of things. If you listen to REM or something, they do this all the time. You'll hear, it's just sort of on the one big strum, nice, clean, bright guitar tone, and it really helps. It works when you have other distorted guitars that are happening, and in this case there's a lot of distorted guitars happening. It just sort of gives it a nice, bright, jangly, sort of gives the guitar part some definition, some sense that you wouldn't have without it. And the playing on just the one thing is key on this song, in particular, especially in the choruses and stuff. I mean, you can see, oops, I just bumped the microphone. You can see, in here, obviously, I'm strumming through here, really simple strumming. Here I'm not doing anything. Here are the choruses again. And then in the second verse, I actually brought in a little bit more. I'm actually more sort of picking through the notes a little bit. Just so the second verse had some new events to happen. Now I can show you I'll show you really quickly. Oops, sorry about that. I'll show you really quickly what I did here on the amplifier and stuff. None of these effects are on. These are all off. And here's the settings that I have on the amplifier. Nice. This is the warm one. I created two tracks of this part. This is the first one. The second one is a little bit different. You can see that the mids are actually pushed all the way up to 10. So is the treble. I wanted them to sound different, even though the part that I was playing on the guitar was actually very similar. One thing too, and this is an important piece of information for you guys, right in this area, and this is the chorus. This is the end of the chorus, and let me just play it really quick. Right, so it's chaotic. There's a crescendo in the guitar part, and I, added a little bit of a volume crescendo, just trying to add some dynamics to the part. Dynamics are a key thing when you're doing any song, really. Dynamics are one of the key things in the performance that sort of, especially in a recording, that really breathe life into it, you know? Gives you some nice valleys and peaks and some ups and downs. So yeah, dynamics are a key thing, and you know, you can help the dynamics of your performance using the volume automation on GarageBand. Now, let's go down. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's talk about this right here. This part here, actually, this is one of his original tracks, and I'll show you what it sounds like without, well, the main effect that I'm using. Right? So it's an acoustic guitar, obviously. So I have the compressor over here on the right-hand side. I have it acoustic guitar clarify. I love this preset. And then I added the vocal transformer and a distortion on it. And the end result is this. Right? So it's, you know, it's obviously a lot higher, and you can set, you know, you can choose the where you want it. You can move the pitch around, you can move the sound around. This is a great thing. Vocal transformer is a great thing to experiment with on any of your guitar tracks, especially, you know, if it's single note stuff. It works really a lot better than chords and things. But it's a nice thing to give an interesting color, and the way I mixed it in here, it really becomes more of like an overtone in the notes. I have quite a bit of reverb on it. But yeah, the purpose of this was to just sort of help support that main theme, that guitar theme that happens in the song, because it's a great guitar theme. And Max, if you watch this, love this guitar part. I really wanted to feature it. So that's why I decided to do that by bringing it up an octave. It just sort of helped it stand out a little more, especially because these tracks right here are the same guitar part, but they're really heavily distorted and pretty gnarly sounding too. I'll just play these really quick. Right? So they're really distorted, and I used the fuzz pedal. I really love this fuzz pedal, and I did compress a little bit. None of the delay is on. And here are the amp settings. Actually, I have this guy turned all the way up on everything. If you've ever actually used one of the original old Fender Champs from the 50s, obviously, you know, a lot of people would agree that the best that they'll sound is when they're turned all the way up and they're just freaking out. And it's totally true. They sound amazing when they're like that. This is obviously a recreation, so it's not exactly as good. So I added the fuzz pedal just to help make it nice and dirty. Now another thing too is on all these guitar tracks that I've done, they're panned left and right and in different areas of the left and right sound image. And the purpose of doing that is really to help create an environment, really to help create, you know, a sonic space for all of these tracks to live in. You'll hear me say things like it wants to sit in the mix really nicely. If you think of it, you know, sort of half of a pie, you know, left and right and panning left and right and compression, all these things really help find places for all these parts to sit inside the mix. Now that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video really long. Just keep in mind when you're making your guitar tracks, especially the overdubbed electric guitar tracks, choruses, it's good to be simple. You want to try to introduce new musical events somewhere, you know, past the halfway point, just so if the song calls for it, past the halfway point, you know, in a verse or something, it's nice to add some new little events to happen. Just sort of helps pace the guitar. And dynamics. I can't stress that enough. So that's it. I hope you guys got a lot out of the guitar video. And tomorrow I'll be back and I'm going to talk about the vocals because I did a ton of stuff to that. And all right, I'll talk to you then. Bye.